Good evening and a very warm welcome to the St Albans virtual open evening, our first of one of three this week. As we should, we'll begin with a prayer. Lord, we ask you to bless our parents, carers and friends tonight with your wisdom and care, that we may find enlightenment and support in the decision we make about our forthcoming choice. Bless each Year 6 student as they make their way through this final challenging year of primary school. May they find love and peace in your guidance. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. So I'm Matt Baker, I'm head teacher of the school and the sixth form here at St Albans, and as you would expect, I'm here to say great things about the school. I am biased and I love this place, but so did Ofsted, and they visited us at the end of January 2020, and they said the following things. Pupils understand the importance of the school community. They are polite, mature and considerate towards others. They respect and look after each other. Staff and pupils help new pupils to quickly become part of the school. What an amazing opening to the Ofsted report, particularly for all of you who are now about to choose your secondary school. They said that pupils felt safe at the school, that they attended regularly, that there were lots of things to do outside of lessons. And in these days where much of the world can be very selfish, our students go the extra mile, they do different. They're proud of the charity events and they enjoy being given the opportunity to make a difference in society. What an amazing thing in the current climate to think of the common good. So the 5 principles that we base our education on are 1, to search for excellence in all that we do. 2, to celebrate the uniqueness of our individuals here. 3, to educate the whole person and the importance of a rounded education. 4, and you'll hear this a lot on the news, we do this to support those with any disadvantage. And finally, to develop moral principles in our young people. Our curriculum, I would say, is traditional in many ways. So yes, we do spend a lot of time in our maths and our English and our science, and they're represented here this evening, and that's supported by outstanding teaching. But that is not all. We also have a very flexible curriculum and a broad curriculum that, most of all, I want our pupils to enjoy. I want them to come here and love their education. So we vary the GCSE offers. Some do more, some do less. Some have completely different pathways, and they're all valid and they're all important to those young people. We don't do things for league tables. We do things for young people, and we make child-centred decisions on our curriculum. And our education is based on 2 things. 1, a disciplined and nurturing and engaging environment. And 2, that we discipline with dignity and we care with integrity. So good behaviour and high levels of respect are the bedrock of our education at St Albans, and that's what you'll be choosing. That's what you have to buy into. And you have to believe in that to choose us. We've got several people to talk to you this evening. If you want a more bespoke chat with us, you'll see on our virtual tour, virtual site on our website, there's loads and loads of buttons to press, and amongst them is a Zoom pick time choice. And if you click on that, that will put you into a Zoom meeting with us for next week, and there's several slots for you to choose from. I would love you to do that, and that's more like the tour that you would have on a normal year. So if you want to have a look and play around afterwards, please do so, and that will put you in a meeting with a senior member of staff. Or if you're not happy with that, or not comfortable with that, just, we're here, just give us a ring. I want you to enjoy the evening, and please ask some questions. And we're now going to hand over to my deputy head teacher, Mr. Corliss.
Good evening everyone, and I'd like to welcome you to our virtual evening as well. We're going to talk a lot today about our school and the many facets that it has. But I'd like to start by saying firstly, at St Albans, parents and children regularly comment that one of the school's strengths is its welcoming atmosphere and friendly community, and something what we'd expect our Year 7s to experience when they first arrive in September. This is at the heart of our Catholic mission. There is a dignity and respect for each individual as a unique creation of God. We strive to celebrate the diversity which He has provided, recognising their gifts and helping them to grow in their understanding of themselves, others, and their relationship with God. We explore other faiths within our learning to promote greater understanding amongst our future citizens so that they may enjoy a tolerant and respectful society. Contributing to the common good is important to our school and takes many forms. For example, our chaplaincy team lead regular fundraising activities for local and international charities. We have voluntary mass. We have many services that support our Catholic life, but most of all, it is the inclusivity of all. We encourage children to become active members of society, and we all work together to improve our school environment. Mr. Baker spoke a short while ago about Ofsted, and our Ofsted inspections, both Section 48, which looks at the religious character of the school, and Section 5, the full inspection, have graded us a good school with several outstanding features. And this is a great credit to the tireless efforts of teaching and support staff at St Albans. In Catholic schools, secondary school numbers have been rising nationally since 2014. Our academic outcomes, notably from this summer, mirror the national picture for Catholic schools. Results were well above the national average. Our results meant that 8 in 10 children received a good or strong pass in both English and maths. Results in the top 10 at A-level. And 60% of our students after A-levels went on to study medicine, science, engineering and maths. What's really important tonight is that you gain a clear view and understanding of our school, albeit virtually, and it's a pleasure to speak tonight. On my left, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Barber, our Head of English faculty, Mr. Silk, our Head of Maths faculty, and Mr. Patterson, our Head of Science faculty. And to my right, our pastoral staff, including Miss Bright, our Head of Year 7, and Mrs. Boozy, our Head of Inclusion. Thank you. If I could introduce Mrs. Barber now.
Hi, so as Simon said, I'm the Head of Faculty for English. I'm new to the school this year from September, so I feel like I'm in a unique position as an outsider coming in to talk about how it feels to be part of St Albans community and almost like what it would be like for a Year 7 coming into this school. I feel straight away that I'm part of the school community and that people have worked really hard to make sure I feel welcomed here, and that's one of the strengths that I've noticed about this school, even having been here such a short time. In terms of English at St Albans, I think it's a really exciting time for the faculty that I am head of. We have a really clear ethos and vision emerging for the department. We are building all of the time and developing a culture of reading and a passion for literature in all of the students, but that starts from the minute those Year 7s come in the door. We really value the primacy of reading. We make that an inherent part of all of our schemes of work, and hopefully this is something that will develop across the school in a whole school way in the future. We want to challenge our students. We want to see what is the best that they can produce. We want to promote progress all of the time. And we do this through consistently high standards and having high aspirations for those learners, that, like I said, the minute they come in the door. And you can see this in the types of work that we throw at them. They're studying 19th century texts right from the start, really challenging, whole Shakespeare texts are studied from year 7 because we feel they need that rounded exposure to the types of texts that they will see all the way from 7 all the way through the school and into sixth form. We're knowledge focused. We make sure that students know how to secure knowledge, retain knowledge, and come back to that knowledge later on in their journey through the school and feel confident with it. We want to help students in English to develop a voice. Really, that's what English is all about, I think. It's about future-proofing their success in this school, but also in the world by helping them develop a voice, whether that's the vocabulary to express that voice, whether it's to be able to have an opinion and know how to express it in an appropriate way. And again, that starts from the minute those year 7s come in the door. We have an exciting range of texts open to them. Yes, we want them to have exposure to traditional, challenging texts, but also we want them to engage with diverse texts as well that challenge their perceptions about the world. We want them to have academic curiosity, so all of our units of work that we are working so hard to all the time improve and develop have that at their core. The search for knowledge, but also how do I express myself in the world using English. We explicitly teach high-level vocabulary, tier 2 vocab, along with that knowledge to make sure that these learners have all the tools, all the skills and the knowledge to be the best that they possibly can. As well as all of that, we want their English education to be rounded and exciting. So we offer lots of different things in the department, things like getting involved with World Book Day, competitions, the English Ambassador Programme, and these are things that are just going to go from strength to strength as time goes on in the school. I've mentioned a lot of different things, but there are key parts of our English curriculum available for you to view in our English virtual classroom. So please go and have a look at that, have a little tour around that area, and hopefully you can see the types of things that I've been referencing when I've been speaking to you. Thank you.
Hi there, my name's Mr Silk and I am the Head of Mathematics here at St Albans. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Maths department now. So our main aim in Maths at St Albans is to stretch and challenge every student who comes into our classrooms. Whether they find Maths easy or if they don't find it easy at all, we want to stretch them to maximise their learning. We have loads of opportunities to stretch the most able mathematicians at St Albans. We engage in the Maths challenges every year. They're run by the UK Mathematics Trust, and we run both the individual and the team Maths challenges to stretch those most able students to really push them and maximise their understanding. The team Maths challenge actually is a competition against other schools. We take a small group of students every year for that, which is a really fun day out. We also have other trips we've arranged recently, such as the Year 8s have been on to some Maths masterclasses with the Royal Institution, a science charity based in London. They went there to push themselves and try and answer more problem-solving questions and maths in everyday life. We've also had Maths feasts, which are competitions run by the advanced Maths programme, and we've had Year 10s and Year 9s go to those in the past as well. So there's tons and tons for the most able students to really stretch themselves. As well as that, we offer the further Maths GCSE further up the school in Years 10 and 11, and we have extension Maths clubs we've run before, such as code breaking in Key Stage 3. We're looking to this year continue with the Alan Turing cryptography competition, which is a competition run by the University of Manchester for students to engage in some cryptography. We also help those students who don't find maths quite so easy, and we work closely with the inclusion department to make sure that those students are supported fully. We offer Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 lunchtime sessions to help those students who do need that additional support. What happens in Maths at St Albans? Well, we set in every year group starting partway through Year 7, and we do that based on a combination of Key Stage 2 results and also our own assessments. We do this obviously to make sure these students are getting the learning at the right pace, and also to make sure that it's targeted for the right ability level. There is always opportunities to move between sets if students are performing well, for example. Class sizes are roughly 30 and don't exceed 32, and we tend to have lower class numbers as you go down the sets. We aim to have one class teacher with every single set, so avoid having split classes wherever possible. We, in the maths department also, we subscribe to a number of different websites which help us with homeworks. For example, we've partnered up with Hegarty Maths, which is a brilliant resource we've used a lot for homeworks, great for independent learning for students at home, and also alongside My Maths and Integral, which we've used in the sixth form as well. Our scheme of work is based on the national curriculum, and we really make sure in maths lessons they're varied. We have investigations and engaging high quality lessons which involve high quality instruction. We really hope to see some of you here in the maths department very soon.
Good evening. My name is Bob Paddington. I'm head of the science faculty, which also includes PE now. I've been here a long, long time and I feel very excited by what's happening, and I feel excited by the things we can offer. We teach science in dedicated science laboratories. There are 8 of them. We have 2 resource areas. We have a full range of subjects in years 7 and 8 which cover biology, chemistry and physics units. Throughout those units we teach in year 7 in form groups. We don't set in year 7. We don't want to pigeonhole people too soon. We like to give everybody a really good chance, and we try and keep the enjoyment and the success that we can foster going all through the year. Each unit lasts about 3 weeks, and at the end of each 3 weeks we have a progress test which will test the students on their literacy and their numeracy and their knowledge. This is a course that we've designed to increase the students' knowledge in terms of mathematics skills, which increasingly is something in GCSE which is much more important. The same process was followed into year 8, where we have biology, chemistry and physics units, so they get a full rota of the various subjects that they study. In year 9 we set them, and that's based on the progress tests that they've done in year 8. And we monitor their progress all the time. They continue to have progress tests throughout the year 9, and we put them into sets then, and they can move in between sets based on their progress. At the end of year 9, or halfway through year 9, we decide on whether they're going to cover combined science course or triple science course. The triple science course is a very demanding course, very high in content, and not suited to everybody. Combined science course can still be done to a very high level, going up to level 9, but the amount of content is slightly less than in the triple, and that's more suited to some people than others. We run a STEM club in conjunction with the technology and maths department as well. That runs every Monday or Tuesday, depending on the timetable. And in the STEM club, which we really do encourage year 7s and 8s to join particularly, we cover all sorts of extracurricular experiments and fun, and we further their knowledge, and we try and make it as enjoyable and as practical as we possibly can. Further on into year past year 11, we offer biology, chemistry and physics at A level, and this year we're very, very happy with the results we've gained this year. Some of the units we cover in year 7, I'll just go back to that. We cover cells and reproduction in year 7 and doctors and diseases in year 7 in the biology units. We cover in chemistry, we have atoms and the periodic table, and separating techniques and acids and reactions. And then physics, we have electricity part 1 and energy and space, which is obviously something people get very interested in. Thank you very much.
If I can just introduce our head of Year 7, Miss Bright.
Hi, so as Mr. Corder said, I'm head of the current Year 7, and we as a school move through each year following our same group of students. We fully understand here at St Albans that for students to be able to learn effectively, they need to feel supported and cared for, and that is fundamental for everything we do. We have a very strong pastoral support system here at St Albans, and every student, when they arrive through the door, they will have a form tutor who will be there as their first port of call, who they'll see day in, day out, and basically be there for whatever comes up in their school life. They've also got a head of year to oversee them and to provide an extra layer of support where needed. We also have dedicated key stage non-teaching staff to help support with other pastoral needs and liaise with outside agencies as well. And we have Catherine, which is our school chaplain, who is part of our pastoral team as well to help provide support to our students where needed. So at St Albans we have 6 houses, and each year group has a form in each house. And we really are celebrating the community that we have here at St Albans. And it's been touched on already about our charity work that we do, and this revolves around our houses and most notably our house charity days, where we celebrate our house saints and help to raise money for not only people in the local area but also further afield as well. We understand here at St Albans that good behaviour is the foundation for excellent learning. So we make sure that the behaviour in lessons is great so that students can do what they're here to do, to learn. And so we are very quick to act if there's any incidences of poor behaviour, and to make sure that everyone feels equipped to learn. But we do understand that things can sometimes go wrong at school, and we take a restorative approach here. So we reflect back on sometimes when things don't go wrong or go right, and help to repair any broken relationships as well, so that we can move forward, because we feel that that's really important, that we arm our students with those key life skills ready to move on when they leave us, basically. As I say, we are a really welcoming school. Every student feels supported. We've got lots of different things that we do to make sure that they feel part of our community, that they feel valued and empowered, so that they can learn effectively. Susie?
Thank you. Hello, I'm Mrs. Busey and I lead the inclusion team here at St Albans. Our aim is really to ensure that all students are able to participate and achieve in lessons, as well as enjoying those lessons. This means that if there are any difficulties due to special educational needs, and that might be dyslexia or ASD, there might be hearing or vision impairment, maybe mobility challenges, anything like that, we will work with teachers to support all students in their learning. We offer the same level of support to students for whom English is not necessarily their first or home language, and also those that are under the care of the local authority. If you have an education, health and care plan in place at the moment, and you would be wanting to name this school, then it's very useful if you'd invite our SENCO to the annual review in Year 6. The types of support that we can provide range from specific and direct interventions, such as things with reading, spelling, social skills, speech therapy, fine motor control, as well as additional English lessons for those who struggle, maybe it's not their home language. And we fully appreciate that sometimes conversation that you've learnt as English as a second language is not always all that you need to know when you start to study science and geography and history in a secondary school. So it's really important that you know that that support is there for you. We have a team of teaching assistants who support the lessons, and they also organise lunchtime activities for some students. So it might be something like a Lego club, jigsaw club or chess club. It's a dyslexia-friendly school, and teachers will differentiate and they will make adjustments where it's appropriate. But we also work with a number of professional organisations such as SIS, and we have a school-funded speech and language therapist. The school also have a foundation learning base, and that's managed by a primary teacher. Now this base is used to deliver the curriculum at a more baseline level for students who might be struggling to maintain progress with their peers, particularly in Year 6. It's a transition area and it's used very flexibly and is appropriate for students individually in Year 7 and 8. So you might drop in for do some intervention, or you might do maybe your history and geography in there. It depends on where you're struggling. We really believe in celebrating strengths and overcoming barriers by supporting all our students to develop independent learning in different ways. We are very aware that when our students leave here, either at the end of Year 11 or go on to sixth form, that they're going out into a world where they need to have a level of independence. So our aim is to ensure that even however much support you need now, we will help you work towards independence in the future. If you want to chat personally with a member of the team, then please use the email addresses after the presentation to contact us, or on the virtual site that you can see. But I'm happy to answer general questions in a short while.
Okay, so you've heard a variety of viewpoints from across our school community. We're now going to take some questions which I believe people have been posting online, and we'll endeavour to answer them to our best ability. If we're not able to, we will certainly get the answers to you in due course. Okay, so first question, please.
We've had a few questions in advance of the evening, and we've got some questions arriving now. So the first question, does the school provide equal opportunities to Catholic pupils who live in the more rural areas surrounding Ipswich that may not fall into the catchment area?
Yes, we do, in short. The idea is full inclusivity, and where we can, we will work with all communities to support them. So yes, we'd endeavour to address that.
Another question, how do you help students settle in when they begin in Year 7?
So when you, or hopefully in a post-COVID era, you will have a chance to come into the school later on in your Year 6 year, and you'll get a chance to do some induction days. So you'll come into the school, you'll meet your form tutor, and you'll get to kind of get a bit of grips for the school really, meet other key staff who you're going to be seeing on a day-to-day basis, and also getting a chance to maybe try out some things that you haven't been able to do at primary school, such as some science experiments, or have some time in our technology rooms as well. So that's really fundamental for our transition period. We weren't able to offer that last year, but we did make sure that that was an integral part of our transition work. So on those first few days, we put the curriculum aside and made sure that everyone felt settled and that they were ready to start, and that they felt ready to begin their secondary journey.
Thank you. Next question. What subjects will my child study in Year 7?
So in Year 7, you obviously study the core subjects, English, Maths and Science. You'll also... Nori, thank you very much. It's because we've got our three here today. We've also, obviously, PE under the Humanities branch. We have History and Geography joining that, Art, Music, Drama, as well. I think I've got them all.
IT.
Oh, IT and French. Lovely. Obviously, later on in your school career, you'll get the chance to choose your pathways, so you can start to adapt and tailor the curriculum to you. But that's what we're doing in Year 7.
Thank you. Another one which I think will be coming your way again, I'm afraid. To what extent does St Albans mention or promote the Duke of Edinburgh Awards to boost student confidence and skills, and in what years would this take place?
Great question. So yes, I actually help out on the Duke of Edinburgh Awards. So we've run it for a good few years now, as long as I can remember, and we offer bronze, silver and gold awards at St Albans. I believe these start from Year 9, but obviously the gold does go into our sixth form as well. and you'll hear more about that from Ms Scad. She's our Duke of Edinburgh lead. But that's a really great way to get to know other members within your school year group, maybe people you haven't met before, and learn some extra skills as well.
Thank you. I know Mr Silk has mentioned this already, but another question, what sort of trips will be held in Year 7?
Well, I mean, obviously it depends on the circumstances, you know, under this new norm, but certainly educational visits are really important, and sort of things that we've done thus far have been retreats or you know, for the day with our RE department and our chaplaincy services for all Year 7. We've done a number of educational visits in other subject areas as well, and we've done a number of residential trips as well. But as I say, the difficulty we've got is at the moment everything seems to be on hold, but obviously where we can, we'll do it in a safe and managed way.
Thank you. A question here for any of you. Is St Albans a big school, and how will my child know how to get around?
So we have about 1,000 students here at St Albans. That's including from Year 7 up to 6th form. There is a map on the virtual school, and there's also a video tour as well, so you can already be starting to get to grips with that. It's a fairly large site, but it's kind of self-explanatory, and I'm sure Miss Barbara will back this up, that once you've done a couple of laps around the school, you'll soon be able to find your bearings. But also, everyone's really friendly, and everyone's been in exactly the same situation as the Year 6s will be, in fact, being new to the school. So if you get lost, then you can ask someone, and I think we said the last time, we haven't lost anyone for too long.
20 years I've been here and we've not lost anybody yet.
Thank you. Another question just popped up on the live chat. Can you please let us know what team sports are played at the school?
I'll answer that one. So team sports are played across all of the major sports for both boys and girls. Again, under COVID situations, the actual fixture lists at the moment are on hold, which is a great disappointment to us as a school and obviously to the students. However, we involve ourselves in all of the area competitions, whether that's football, rugby, basketball, netball, tennis, rounders, cricket. So we play the majority of the key sports that we play with in the United Kingdom. We also involve ourselves in things like cross-country and athletics, and certainly the children are particularly enthusiastic about getting involved in those kinds of activities. So certainly there is a lot on offer in terms of competition for sport, but also from a recreational point of view as well. We encourage all children to be physically active and to engage in a healthy, active lifestyle as being part of our school community.
Thank you. And one here for our heads of faculty particularly. Please can you tell us about how students are set when they start in Year 7?
Yeah, so I'll touch on this one from a maths point of view. We set on a combination of Key Stage 2 assessments, Year 6 SATs, and also our own assessments. We make sure we don't do that from day one. We'll usually have a half term or a term in their form groups, just so we can really get to know the students and make sure they're in the right group for them, for their learning.
Okay, in terms of English, they're not set, they're taught in their form groups, which is really nice in a way because it means that they will know each other really well. They're building those relationships at a really important time. They are regularly assessed after every unit of work, and obviously that data is looked at really carefully to ensure that progress is being made and intervention happens if it needs to, but we don't set, they are taught in their form groups.
And in science, as I said earlier on, we don't set in Year 7 or Year 8, but we do carry out progress assessment tests about every 3 weeks, and we obviously monitor progress and put intervention in where needed, and we set at the end of Year 8 for Year 9.
Thank you. And another related question is about the pathways scheme that we have at the school. Some people have seen it on the website and asking about what it is. So I'll answer that question. So the pathways scheme at the school is our version of options. That begins at the end of Year 8, where pupils start to think about what they want to do at GCSE. The idea is that it gives a lot of flexibility so that they can make changes throughout year 9, so that they can be sure that by the time they start at the beginning of year 10, they have got their subjects chosen and they make the right choices. So we put a lot of effort into giving them information about what each subject does and where that can lead to in the future in further education and in the world of work. But also we give them the support that they need in making those choices through their form tutors. So that's enough from me. Do you have a dedicated drama studio?
Yes, we do. It's multi-purpose as well, but yes, we do. And also we have a classroom that's dedicated to drama as well, its own room.
Good evening. When are you starting the sports clubs?
Okay, well, all our sports clubs would ordinarily start at the beginning of the academic year. We vary the clubs depending on the season. So football would traditionally run from the beginning of the academic year through to the October half term. And then we have a mid-season break when the clocks go back, and then we resume after Christmas. Basketball then kind of works in the middle of that season period, so over the kind of the darker evenings, and then into the summertime. Obviously, our more kind of outdoor-based activities such as athletics, cross country, rounders, cricket, and so on. So we have clubs running throughout the academic year, but they are based on a kind of a season cycle, as and when the conditions and the weather allow us to play those sports.
Thank you. Another question here. As a parent, how can I monitor how my child is doing at the school?
Oh, that's a very good question. We've bought into a product called Class Charts, and Class Charts is very pastoral orientated. So, for example, it provides records of students which we pull from our main school database. But the idea is that it actually gives access to parents as well through an app, and they can see how the child is doing, whether that's with regards to rewards, good behaviour, or sanctions if there are any areas of concern. But it provides that additional scope and real-time scope, I might say, so it's not days old, of things that are going on with your child with regards to the welfare and safeguarding issues as well. It's a very useful tool. But also we're now using the homework application, so basically whenever your son or daughter will be issued with homework, you'd obviously receive an information update about that. So it keeps you in the loop, but also keeps you in the loop about pastoral information as well, as I say, to support the well-being of your child.
Thank you. And a related question, which our heads of faculty can answer: will my child get a lot of homework?
Yes.
I think in year 7 we in the core subjects we have one homework task per week, approximately half an hour. I believe I've got that right. That most days, right? And I can't say the same for the option subjects at the moment in year 7, but there's regular homework in maths, for example. We've set a lot of homework on Hegarty Maths, which has videos and quizzes for students to do. And this links back to the last question actually, and parents can log on to their child's account to see the progress they're making with the homework, to see how they're getting on.
Okay. In science in year 7, they get one homework a week into year 7. In year 9, 9s and 10s, they have 2 homeworks per fortnight. That's split between biology, chemistry and physics.
Okay, in English, yeah, it's the same, half an hour. And really for English, that could take the form of, an extended piece of writing, or it could be spellings, or exploring some higher tier vocabulary that's going to feed into a unit of work. It could, it could be a range of different things.
Thank you. Related to the earlier question about the drama studio, could you tell us a little bit about some of the other specialist areas that the school has available?
Yes, well, Mr. Patterson made reference to the 8 purpose-built science labs. I can also talk about the technology rooms as well, which are kitted out with the up-to-date technology that supports the delivery of the curriculum areas. So whether that's graphics, whether that's food and nutrition, or design and technology with resistant materials, we have a number of rooms that are bespoke rooms that are fitted out, as I say, to support learning in those areas. We also have a number of computer rooms as well, where we teach a range of subjects, including computing now, but also we have a number of sixth form areas which support learners and students in the main. When you look at the access to computers, our ratio to student per computer is above the national average, and we have interactive whiteboards in each classroom which are wired into the school network as well as Wi-Fi. So we encourage all standards of, or all varieties of learning, but when you think about the facilities that we have in the school, you know, we're generally in a good position. We have our own recreational fields as well, which is a big plus for schools in this area. We also have a purpose-built sports hall, and we have a large main hall which we utilise for sports and additional drama works as well. Over in our performing arts block, as well as drama, which we mentioned, we also have purpose-built art rooms to support the art curriculum and creativity, but we also have a music classroom purpose-built with a number of peripatetic rooms, practice rooms. And then finally we have within the technology room, which I didn't mention, was we have textiles provision as well. So we have obviously sewing machines and textile printing facilities to support that. So as schools go, we're generally well resourced. There's always the opportunity to have more buildings, but in reality what we've got and what we are able to deliver right across the curriculum, whether it's year 7 right up to GCSE and beyond up to A-level, you know, we're in a very good position. We also, incidentally, for our A-level students, we actually have a photography studio as well, so that supports A-level courses with regards to that element as well. So hopefully that gives you an overview of what we've got at the school, and you know, please feel free to contact us if you'd like further information. And of course here we are in the school chapel, which is at the heart of the school. So we're blessed that we're actually in a chapel which is consecrated and where we celebrate Mass on a weekly basis. Obviously that's been a wee bit difficult at the moment without a priest, but we do it virtually as a service to all our community.
Thank you. Could you tell us a little bit about the food facilities that the school has?
The food facilities, catering, or is that, yes, catering. Yeah. Yes, well, we have a purpose-built catering facility, which is, you know, originally with the school when it was first built. Obviously, the challenges of a growing role of students on our books means that we've also got an additional area as well, which is known as an outdoor serving area, known as the pod. That supports various groups, and also we've got canteen facilities which produce hot and cold food as well. So students tend to have a good choice, a good selection, and the menu varies on a week-by-week basis. We now offer cashless catering, which obviously speeds up the process, but the idea is that the food that's provided caters for you know, most palates as well. And obviously if the students with allergies, then you know, we're mindful of that and supporting them where we can. When they get older, i.e. sixth formers, they're allowed out, and obviously our local shops, including Greggs, Subway, et al., seem to do very well at the expense of our students. But for our younger people coming in from year 6, the resources tend to be well maintained and well resourced.
Just to add to that, we offer hot and cold meal deals as well. And if your child is eligible for free school meals, that credit will be automatically added onto their thumbprint every day so that they can claim either their hot or cold meal deal.
And we've actually reviewed the meal deal because obviously we wanted to represent best value for all the students to make sure that no one goes without a lunch.
A question for Mrs. Boosie. I'd like to ask about children with autism. Do you have any support teachers who know about children's autism and how to help them with their learning?
Yeah, we do. We work very closely with County Inclusive Support Service. We actually have regular contact with them weekly. so they work with the school. We've also got part of my team trained to deal with autism, but all teachers undergo autism awareness constantly. We're always updating teacher training, giving more information. So I would say we are definitely an autism-friendly school.
Thank you. There's a question here, do you put on any drama and or music productions?
In the past we have, but obviously in the last couple of years we've gone through some changes in terms of leadership within drama, for example. So obviously with that in mind, our intention is that there will be something in the pipeline with regards to performing arts. But obviously, as we find ourselves in this new norm, obviously we need to monitor that. But that would be the intention, to run something of that nature.
In terms of our music as well, we've got enrichment in lots of different clubs that the music team run, and they also take part in lots of events as well. So they've been to Snake Maltings and represented the school there, and also for our award ceremonies as well. So they're very active within our community. Also going into nursing homes at Christmas time to sing Christmas carols and things like that. So they're very active.
I'll add to that in terms of the music. We also have a group that play music for our masses, which is made up of staff and students, and that's something that helping our students in their worship is very, very important to us. I was having a conversation with Mr. Silban, the head of drama, just end of last week, and he is looking at whether he can put on a virtual production later in the year, using sort of pre-recorded things, because we're not able to put on a normal production at the moment under COVID, which I think is a very exciting idea, so I hope that we'll be able to do that. Got one little comment here, which isn't a question, but it's a rather lovely comment, just saying, hi, I think I'm coming to this school. So I thought that was worth reading that out. That's lovely, isn't it? A question here about how many students are there in the school, and also how many spaces are there in Year 7? It would be worth mentioning.
So we just under 1,000 students at the moment. We've recently upped our PAN, so the amount of students that we can hold to 172. We're just slightly under that at the moment, but we have a waiting list, so we're just working our way through that. But we're looking forward to being up to 172 shortly.
Question here about getting to school. It says, how hard is it to get a bus to the school?
Depends where you're travelling from. So, in short, we have a number of buses that come onto our school premises at the end of the school day. We are really near a main school bus route. The number 66 from experience travels from town up this way to Martlesham, and we're one of the main stops opposite the hospital, and the same way going back. But on site comes the 11A, the 11B, and a Felixstowe bus as well. They tend to be double-decker buses. So obviously we're able to ensure our students get on the buses safely and get on the way home. So hopefully that answers your question. But if you've got a specific question about a route, then please contact us and we'll endeavour to answer that.
Thank you. And a question now for Mr. Horn, who is our safeguarding and behaviour lead. The Ofsted report mentioned how you deal with bullying. Can you tell us a little bit about how bullying is dealt with at St Albans?
I think it's important to recognise that bullying does happen in schools, but it's how we as a school respond to that and deal with it effectively. And I think, as you said, it was picked up in our Ofsted inspection, that the children feel that when bullying does happen, it's dealt with quickly and effectively. Part of that is around education, is around educating young people around developing positive relationships, to understand what that actually looks like, and then also dealing with conflict. So Miss Bright mentioned earlier on about using a restorative approach. That's one way that we can effectively deal with bullying, is to get children to understand that when they have conflict with one another, or when they come to have issues, how do we resolve those issues? And so we use that approach really effectively, but it's something that we don't tolerate in school. And so where it arises, we deal with it quickly, and we use a range of different approaches. But it's really important that we work with students and their families to try and resolve these issues as quickly and as effectively as possible. I think the key point for us as a school is that when children come here, they feel safe, they feel happy, and if they've got a problem, then they feel that they can come and speak to somebody, and actually that matter will be taken seriously and it will be dealt with effectively. And I think that's the really important part of all of this. We need to recognise that bullying can occur from time to time, and that children feel confident that they can come and speak to a member of staff and that their concerns will be taken really seriously, and actually the matter will be resolved in a timely way. So that's how we kind of deal with bullying.
Thank you. A question, I think, for Ms. Bright. If you are in a class with someone at primary school and they are going to the same high school as you, can you be in the same class with them when you get to high school?
So we always try and make sure that you're with some people that you've come from primary school with, but we also have a number of students arriving where they are the only student. So we sit down and we take information from the primary school and we suit you best into your form groups. We also take note of any interests as well and try and link you with your form tutors as well. But yes, definitely there's a high chance that you'll be with the people that you want to be with from your primary school.
Thank you. And another question from the same person. What sports do you do at the school?
Okay, well, we did answer that one, but we do all of the major sports: football, rugby, netball, cricket, tennis, basketball, badminton, volleyball, all of the kind of the key sports. So yeah, a whole range of sports. And I think what's really important to recognise coming into high school is that you have specialist PE teachers, specialist staff who have the expertise and also the facilities to ensure that you get a really good experience.
Thank you. That's all the questions that we had in advance, and all the questions at the moment are on the chat. So if people are listening, if they have any more questions, if they could put them on the chat now while we've still got a few minutes.
While we've got a few minutes, I think it's worth mentioning some of our positive behaviour awards that we have. So as Mr. Corliss mentioned, we've obviously, each student collects house points and that goes towards the house cup. And those points do mean prizes in terms of recognition for your hard work as well. So something that we started last year and we'll be continuing with is Hot Chocolate Fridays. So for students who are being picked up from either their teaching groups or from their form groups, have really worked hard over the last few weeks, they'll be invited for hot chocolates on Fridays. We also have reward postcards as well. And in the past, we have offered up trips for those who have worked consistently hard throughout their year. And obviously prom, we look forward to that in year 11. They have to gain prom points to be able to be invited to go to their prom. So,
attendance lunches.
Oh yes, attendance lunches as well. So pizza lunches for those who have 100% attendance for the term as well. So there's lots of recognition of good things that happen in the school as well.
Thank you. We've now had 4 more questions that popped up. Firstly, can we play a musical instrument at the school? I think that's something
Yes.
that I can answer. We do have a set of peripatetic music teachers that come in. We haven't had them up until now for this term, but they will be starting after half term. And we do have a number of instruments that can be lent out as well if that is required, but we do offer a full range of instruments: piano, guitar, drums, different wind instruments and so on, as well as singing lessons. How many classes are there in the school?
There's 6 form groups in every year group, and generally there's 6 classes for each subject for each year as well. As we go on to GCSE, the class sizes generally will get a bit smaller as they become a little bit more unique. So for instance, textiles and food tech, those class sizes will be smaller, so therefore the number of lessons going on at one time is increased.
Thank you. And there's another related question just popped up. How many people are in each class? I think I'll answer that one. It does vary depending on whether it is a core class or whether it is an options class or pathways class. So in the core classes, you would have normally between about 26 and 30 in a class. In some of the options classes, the pathway classes, you could have fewer than that, but normally it's 20 or above. in each class. Are you linked to a local Catholic church?
Well, we have a number of links with our feeder parishes. Our nearest feeder school will be St Mary's, and obviously the chapel or the church is right by the school. But for ourselves, we're very blessed that we have our own chapel. So what we tend to do is we tend to have year or house or actual form masses. We can facilitate a form in this room. In our main hall, we can facilitate a house. So, for example, on Wednesday, when it's our house, one of our house's feast days, Avila, we would tend to have a mass for everyone involved in the school. But obviously, unfortunately, with the social distancing, we're doing a remote service which will be beamed through all the classrooms for those members of Avila to watch the service as such. But we don't physically go to a church as such because we have the chapel on site. What we tend to do is for reflection days, and this includes Year 7, we tend to go off-site to Colchester Road Baptist Church, which is probably around 10 minutes walk from the school, and we tend to go on foot and we spend the day there. That tends to happen, but obviously, sadly, since lockdown, we've been unable to access those facilities, but the plan is to access that in due course.
Thank you very much. A very timely question at the moment. What is our online provision? In other words, if we should enter another lockdown, what can we offer the students for their learning?
Well, a good question again. Obviously, for lots of schools, it's been a steep learning curve, and certainly for ourselves, we've invested in Microsoft Teams and the virtual. It's sort of similar to Zoom, but the difference is it's managed within school, and the idea is that each department, including faculties, will have their own almost department room, and within there we'll have obviously all the classes that students can access resources from. So from Year 7 right up to Year 13, there are bespoke, tailored educational resources there that they can access. That's being populated more and more as we go through this process. Staff, including Friday, we had a half day on Friday where staff were actually training in the use of it, and we've also appointed a digital learning coordinator. That's a person with a designated responsibility to oversee all of this being tailor-made, but also ensuring that it's added into these resource rooms via Teams. So the idea is that students would have access to this resource via the normal login, the username and the password which is used in school, and they can do that anywhere they've got a web-based access via the internet. So as long as they've got internet access, they'll be able to access the resources, and the resources will come in a variety of forms, whether it's interactive, whether it's worksheets, whether it's watching videos, answering questions, things like that. You know, it will be varied depending on the subject.
For those who don't have internet access, we do have a record of children at the school who maybe have an unstable internet or not as reliable. So we are aware of those children, and paper-based activities will be provided for them as well.
Thank you. Just a couple of very quick more questions. What time does the school start, and are there buses from Felixstowe?
Yes. School starts. Students really need to be on site from 8. We tend to sort of encourage them to be on site from sort of 8:30 and beyond. We start officially at 8:50. We have a break at we got phase breaks at the moment because obviously of the teaching in bubbles due to COVID. But end of school is 3:15. Buses come on site at the end of the school day, the 11A, the 11B, and also a Felixstowe double-decker bus as well. And it tends to leave around 3:30, so it allows for students coming out of lessons to access it. It doesn't leave at 3:15, it waits.
Thank you. And just before our rather appropriate final question, can I just say that on Wednesday we will have the heads of department from RE, from the humanities, that's history, geography and the social sciences, from modern foreign languages, and then on Thursday we will have the heads of department from the creative arts, from technology and from ICT and business. So if you have any specific questions for them, then please do come and watch it on Wednesday or Thursday. And the final question, why is the school called St Albans?
Why is it called St Albans? That's another good question. Well, St Alban, even though people get it mixed up with St Albans, the place over towards Luton, my geography's not brilliant down here anyway, But what I would say is that St Alban was actually the first martyr in Britain. He was a warrior, actually, with links to the Roman army. But he actually was an East Anglian saint. And when he obviously was martyred, he was canonised and became a saint. So the school is named after St Alban. It isn't named after an order. Often you'd find schools might be linked to Jesuit or De La Salle or other orders, but for our school, or Salesians, for our school it's designated as St Alban. It's quite unique, even though geographically East Anglia is a huge diocese. There are only about 5 Catholic schools within the diocese itself, which are geographically spread across a huge area. So we're quite blessed in one sense, but St Alban is our patron saint, and it's named after a first East Anglian saint.
Thank you. I'm afraid that is now all the time we have for questions. If you do wish to ask any other questions, then please do come back either Wednesday or Thursday at 6 o'clock, where we'll be holding our second and third evening.
If I can say, just on behalf of my colleagues and also a greater community at St Albans, many thanks for joining us tonight. I hope we've answered as many questions as we can, and I'm sure, obviously, as Mr Berry has said, if there are any queries or questions, please get in touch. God bless and good night.